We want to start off with a reminder that we are not doctors. Before you make any changes or try something new, always consult with your doctor and medical team first. Chronic illness can vary from patient to patient, so it's always best to consult with your own doctor for what is best for you.
Hello and welcome back to I Be Determined. I'm your host, Mason Harvey, and I speak from the role of a patient, and I have Crohn's disease.
And I'm your other co-host, Michelle Harvey. I'm Mason's mom, and I also speak in the role of a caregiver.
Yay.
And today's topic is one that I think is one of the most asked questions by anybody diagnosed, any parent. And I think that question is there a cure?
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, it's a disease.
Yeah.
If you think of a disease, you think there's a cure.
Right. You're like, okay, I mean, I know there's diseases out there, some there don't, but there are some that do. And I mean, that was probably one of the first questions when Mason was diagnosed. I asked, like, is this curable? Is this able? I was pretty surprised when I found out that no,
there isn't a cure. And it's like,
yeah. And I think for a lot of newly diagnosed people, this is a big question. I see it posted online. I've seen this question. People are upset because they seem to think that Big Pharma doesn't want a cure because they want to just create treatments. And I'm somewhere like I do know it's very expensive for these biologics.
Companies, yeah.
I get that. So 50% of me is like, yeah, of course there's money to be made here. And so people want to make money. The other part of me, though, it feels like there just is not.
We're still figuring it out. We're still learning the disease, and we're not far enough into the understanding of it to be able to create a cure yet.
I don't think they're blocking a cure.
No.
I don't think there's some hidden person out there who's like, hey, we know the answers. Don't tell them.
If there was a cure, media would be all over it.
Right. And I think a lot of people, if you just look at the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation site, you'll see the research going into looking for a cure. But in the meantime, a cure could take years. A cure could never happen, to be honest. Yeah. And so would you prefer there's no treatments or options in the meantime? I mean, I don't know what people are expecting. I don't know what the thought process is. But as for me, I'm very thankful for Big Pharma in a huge way, because with Mason, it's prevented surgeries. It has prevented further damage happening. I think instead of focusing your energy on being mad that there's no cure, understand that they are looking for a cure, but in the meantime,
we have treatment.
You have to treat it. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe there's some big conspiracy out there.
Yeah. The only misleading thing when I was in the hospital that made me upset when I realized there wasn't a cure is when they would say, like, soon you'll be in remission. And when I heard remission, I pictured a cure, I'll be cured of the disease. I'll be in remission.
Like once you're in remission, you're good for forever.
And so, when I asked my doctor the one time, I asked, so when will I be in remission and have to come off my treatments? And they're like, oh no, when you're in remission, you still have to take treatments.
Right.
And it's like, but that's not remission.
Right.
A cure would cause remission. So that was the only confusing thing. There's different terms.
Right. That you need to learn.
Yeah.
And I think early on that is confusing.
It is.
I do think that treatments will get us closer to a cure.
Definitely.
I think that once you start figuring out precision medicine, like what treatments work for one patient, one works for another, you're going to get closer to the root cause for an individual.
On the root cause, and right now we don't understand the root cause.
Right. Everybody, on social media, you see posts where they figured it out, and it's the gut microbiome, or it's a diet, and it's like all these things. The problem is, like we've talked about before, Crohn's is most likely not one disease.
There's probably more.
Probably like an umbrella term in the future. I could see Crohn's being like an umbrella for different types of Crohn's, different stages, things like that. Because if you're mild, moderate, severe, you're going to have different treatment plans. Yeah. You're going to have different symptoms.
I mean, it doesn't even seem like it can be. I mean, we have the same symptoms sometimes.
Right.
But people can have, just one part of their body being affected. And other people can have their eyes, mouth,
like
teeth,
everything.
And then another person can be on one biologic, let's say Remicade, and it doesn't work for somebody else, and they have to be on dual biologics like me. And then some person can't eat pizza and be completely fine, and some person eats piece of pizza and they go into a flare the next day. And it's like, how is this the same disease? Obviously, it's different for every person, but at the end of the day, how is all these different things
Right, equal the
leading to the same
same, right,
disease?
same diagnosis. So I, I think that is a huge part of this is trying to figure out that root cause per individual and start narrowing it down. Like, are we looking at 5 groups? Are we looking at 2 groups? Things like that. And I think that the treatments, the precision medicine, that research is going to be merged with the research in the field of trying to find the root cause, and they'll be able to share those resources. I'm part of IBD Plexus, which is kind of like a shared resource site to help researchers with information learned from doctors and the patient data. So there's a lot going on to try to make these connections and to truly start understanding it. So, with that said, we all hope for a cure, but what does a cure look like? Like when you picture it, it's like, is it a quick a pill? Is it a month something you take once a month? Is it
Personally,
something you
I
take a day?
think of it like an injection that you would take
Hmm.
monthly or maybe every few
Yeah.
weeks. But let's see.
So, and I think so. I think what you should do too is kind of like what Mason's doing, kind of like what I'm doing. Before it gets, we start to answer this and look really into it. Ask yourself that question right now, and then at the end of the podcast, ask yourself
Hmm.
again to
So you can
see
see
if
how it changed, or if you were
right.
accurate, or if it changed,
Right. And I
how
think
it's
for
different.
most of us, there's going to be some accuracy in all parts of this because, again, this is just going to be we went to like Google searches, we did ChatGPT. These are polling sources from the internet. And so there may be things that you're going to agree with and maybe something new you'll learn. So, anyways, I think it's important for us before we're so frustrated at why there's not a cure
To
to
see what it one would
like really talk about
realistically
it.
look like. Yeah.
Right, right. Instead of getting mad, like, let's stop and think like maybe what they're doing right now is working towards that cure and you feel like it's not. But anyways,
I'm seeing a
so
question I'm liking on here. This one.
is it a one-time treatment that cures
Yes.
you? Well, and see, I had written that down because originally that's what I kind of thought was like there's a treatment you
Mhm.
do. It'd be great. Can you just like take when you get an ear infection, you take antibiotics, it goes away. That kind of thing. So I was like, "Oh, is it something you can take and it's
Magically disappears.
important to understand the immune system, guys. This
Yes.
is another, I'm reading a book right now. I'm going to do a separate podcast on that because
It's a very cool, but
it's an awesome
it's
book.
not sponsored
And
though.
I know,
It's
but
cool.
I think it's extremely important to understand the immune system to further understand the delay in finding a cure and how treatments work. Super important, guys. So I recommend, there's multiple things you can do to try to understand this, but I'm coming into this. I've been reading this book, and so this was very interesting, this research.
Agreed.
ChatGPT, I asked both the same questions when I was doing my searches. What does a cure look like for Crohn's? So I asked the same questions and got different responses. ChatGPT, right up front, said that's a deceptively hard question to answer.
Well said.
I'm like, it sure is because when you have people saying, "Why is there a cure?" and if you stopped and said, "What does a cure look like?" they'd probably be like, "Oh, wait a minute, I don't really know what it looks like." So yeah, so even
I think
ChatGPT,
ChatGPT isn't just like straight
no,
up. "Oh, I
straight
know
up.
what it looks like." They're like,
Yeah, they're like, that's hard to
"Hmm,
answer.
let's see."
Right. And so Google, they organized it and said that in 2026 we're moving closer to a cure with 3 different approaches. And those approaches they said that are moving closer to a cure. So they didn't really answer what a cure would look like, but they answered how we're moving towards a cure. So they said one of the approaches is complete biological healing. 2 is preventative vaccines and antibiotics,
Okay.
almost like what you were
Mhm.
saying, a shot or a vaccine. And
Thanks.
3, highly targeted personalized medicine.
All right, there we go. So it's not like one cure for everybody.
Right.
It's different treatment for everybody.
They're not really saying that they're not answering the question
No, I
necessarily.
think ChatGPT did a great job of
Yeah, I
answering the
think Google was
question.
like, oh, geez,
Like,
it's
well, let's
so
just find one.
let's just do it. So they're saying we're moving closer to a cure
Yeah.
in these 3 ways. And the first one they mentioned was complete biological healing. What they explain that means is they're looking at it like a functional cure. So I think that was
Okay.
important. Functional. That
Mhm.
looks like deep remission from biological healing. A deep remission means when you're in clinical remission, no symptoms, endoscopic and histologic remission, which means you have scopes and everything looks good in the intestines and they don't pick up any microscopic inflammation in the biopsies. And then biochemical remission, which is your labs that are detecting inflammation are normal. So when all three of those things happen, they call that a functional cure.
So here's the thing. I think ChatGPT had a funny answer, and they definitely were more honest. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. So
Right.
don't ask me, ask your doctor.
Right.
Because they don't want to get sued.
And it kind of makes sense because it is confusing because we don't really know what a cure will look like yet.
No.
And so it's hard to say it's like how does a future treatment look? I don't know. It will probably make you feel better, but I don't know how it's going to work. So it's hard to really say, but we'll talk about what ChatGPT said later, which didn't excellent job, I have to say, versus all the searches I try to put together and find. Then, so number two I had mentioned was preventative vaccines and antibiotics. What this is that they're saying research is working on, like one of the things that's being researched is a vaccine, which is targeting Mycobacterium avium paratuberculosis, which is MAP. And so some of you may have heard of that. So what that's doing is it's trying to potentially prevent or permanently halt the disease. But they mention that's only in some patients.
They have to put the little asterisk right there.
Right. That's why you're saying, what does a cure for Crohn's look like? Well, maybe a cure for 10 out of 100 patients, 10%. But so this is just only looking at it's curing, and it would be in some patients.
I mean, it's getting somewhere.
Right. Which again, this is all important.
We have to learn.
They're also working on antibiotics, which would target the disease that's causing bacteria in the gut.
Yeah. Okay.
And so again, that's going to be specific to how your diagnosis is and to how you are. So interesting stuff. And then for number three, the highly targeted personalized medicines, they mentioned dual biologics as being like, because that's more of like a personalized approach. And I'm like, well, and you
don't feel like it's a cure.
No, but you were one of the first kids on a dual biologic. And I think from gathering research and looking at kids like you, they're starting to see that personalized situation where you might have to say, well, this is working, but in all the way, we throw this in, this covers the other half that wasn't working, and now you're fully covered.
So basically, they're going to, in the future, probably take ideas from that and make personalized cocktail injections.
That's what I think. That's where I think precision medicine is going. You're going to have like your bartender who's like mixing different things up.
The Mason. Special.
It's your personalized. So that personalized approach is like that precision medicine. And they also want to focus on, they said predictive markers that can indicate if you're going into a flare. And so they would try to stop it before one starts. That's one of the things. Another thing they threw in there, it wasn't included in their top three, but they said stem cell therapy is also part of the cure category because it has the ability to reset the immune system. From what I remember, it can come back still because the immune system gets reset, but just like you started with a certain one, it resets itself again. So
because I heard that. I mean, it sounds cool at first. It's going, it can reset the immune system.
Yeah.
But that, that doesn't sound, it sounds too good to be true.
Right. And I do know some people do this and things do work well for them, but again, we're going to need more research to find out how long is it lasting, things like that.
We need more research, which is why you should become a scientist.
Yeah, Mason is going to college right now. So then when we asked ChatGPT the same question, I already told you, they were like, that's a hard one. But their responses, I think, to be fair, doing Google searches and pulling stuff together, it's going to be a little different. ChatGPT is going to talk to you like you are their person, their friend.
Yeah. And also think of it like this. Google is made for you to search up videos, to search up things that you want to look up, right? And they added AI to it. It's not solely an AI platform.
And I do want to specify, I didn't use Google AI. I used Google searches because I wanted to do two different ways of looking for this. I want to see I want to see, some people don't like AI. So I wanted to see what, if they did a search with Google, what would come up. And then for the people that like AI, I did a search with ChatGPT. So that's kind of
what it came up with. So
yeah,
Google, it's still impressive, actually.
Right. It did a great job.
Just Google.
I just figured some people are going to be like, I don't like AI. So I want to make sure we did two different ways here where it's not all AI. So we did the regular Google search that all of you have access to, and then the ChatGPT. So their responses, I'm going to list them kind of go into them. The first one they said is, now this is what they said, what does a cure look like for Crohn's? Durable immune reset, not an immune suppression.
Okay.
Right away, I was like, I get it, because all the treatments you're on right now are immune suppressing.
Okay.
But they want something that resets the immune system. What they wrote here, and this, I was so excited because this goes on with what I'm reading. You may recognize some of it
Okay, I'll see.
because I'm going,
I'm
this
reading it
made,
kind of starting to sound like the book.
it made sense. And so that means they wrote that tolerates normal gut bacteria, stops inappropriate attack on intestinal tissue, and it maintains normal defense against infections because your immune system is not being affected. So, one of the notes they have was an antigen specific immune tolerance, which is teaching the immune system what not to attack.
That's cool.
That's what I've been reading in my book. And I'm like, oh, this makes so much sense. Your body's confused. It is attacking the wrong. It's saying there's danger when there's no danger.
Now see that I like how it says teaching them, not what to attack and how to trying to teach them what they're doing wrong.
Right.
Now that sounds, it makes realistic sense.
Right.
Like we need to reprogram how they think.
Right.
It sounds, how are we going to do this? But it sounds really believable.
Right. But they're not. Now, I think what's interesting is not like they're saying this can be done, but they're saying this, if you're looking for a cure, this is what it would look like. And so in connection with that, teaching your immune system what not to attack, which is important key. There's going to be a reprogramming of the T cells, macrophages, or dendritic cells, and targeted deletion or silencing of pathogenic immune memory. Because that's the other thing. Your immune system is smart. And every time something happens, it's going to store something and use it. So it's like your body's going to remember, oh, I need to attack this again. And
I remember that this was bad.
Right. And so you need to, it's really that reset and teaching it. So that is a really, I thought that was so cool because obviously how do we get there? I don't know. But I think that was a really good meaning. We don't just suppress the immune system and treat it.
They're trying to
which makes sense.
Fix it, which is good.
Right.
So that means that your immune system would probably return to that of a healthy person.
Right.
So you wouldn't have to be so limited.
Exactly.
And you would also be cured. Okay. So.
Right. So that, I think that was a really good response.
Good idea. Very good.
And again, it's pulling from people that are doing research.
Yeah.
So that's the cool thing. This isn't like they're just making this up.
Because remember, AI, even though it seems like it might be one of the smartest things, it is working off of human stuff. And so
provided information.
Even though it seems like otherworldly and AI just solved the problem for Crohn's disease, now it's pulling from sources. And so we know this is happening. And that's what's really cool because it's taking from human sources, which means it is occurring. The AI is helping us figure that out.
And in a whole nother topic, I don't want to take us too far off, but like that's where AI can also pull information from other research with other research and make connections that would take a human a lot more time to make.
Yes.
They're going to be very quick. And so that's where AI is helpful in the medical community. That's a whole nother topic. So anyways, one of the other responses they gave was restoration of the intestinal barrier. So everything would be restored to how it's supposed to, a normal intestinal barrier should be.
All right. I feel like this is a step-by-step process, maybe, because if you fix the intestinal barrier, you have to first fix the immune system because it's just going to attack it again. But once the immune system is maybe reset or fixed, maybe that's when you would restore the intestinal barrier.
It seems to me like what they're saying is they're not saying how or in what order, but it makes sense. Would have to go in an order to get that intestinal barrier restored. So in some way, if you can make the intestines, that will help. But we know this is not just a disease with the intestines, so that is important. But that would be potentially a partial cure, I would think. And they said a stable, healthy microbiome is the third thing. So a cured state would involve a resilient gut ecosystem, not just temporary changes from probiotics or antibiotics. So the key is what they said, which I thought was really smart, is durability, not needing constant intervention. Okay. That's a good definition of what a cure looks like, right? Where it's something long lasting. Yeah. And you don't need to constantly intervene and treat it.
Intervention would be like the injection or infusion or pill treatment. Right. You don't need to intervene because it's going to be cured. And so durability, that's a good way to.
I really liked that wording. Another way they said it would look like is no ongoing medication to mean remission and no relapses, like what you were talking about, where you get to that level of remission and you stay and you don't need to keep taking medication. Your body is good, it goes, you move on with your life, and then you also have no relapses. It doesn't come back. And so that's something else. And I think that's what a lot of people picture with. I think they're mistaken when they get put on biologics and they think once I'm feeling better,
I
I'm
get to come
good.
off of them.
And it's like,
No.
that's not how it works. So the other one they said, the fifth one that they said was the prevention of disease progression and complications. So to me, that, yeah, I would assume if there's a cure, you're not going to have, it's not going to be progressive. It's not going to, it's going to be done, cured. Right. So that makes sense. Something else they added at the end was early intervention or pre-disease correction, and where they could identify people that are high risk and intervene before clinical disease develops.
Interesting.
So basically prevent Crohn's
from ever going into a flare or
manifesting. I have so many questions. So because it's like how certain people have, like they've said there's genetic markers, there's certain markers in the immune system that people may carry or don't carry. But for Mason, and I know we did a study and they didn't find anything that was connected to one of the things that they have found that is a connective genetic disorder with Crohn's.
Yeah, so let's remember that Google didn't use AI, so applause to Google. You know, they did good. But ChatGPT blew my socks off.
It did a great
here's
job.
one question that I still have to answer. Is this going to be a injection that you take once, or is it something they're going to take over the course?
Which is perfect, Mason, because that is what ChatGPT told you next.
Oh, ChatGPT, here we go.
So they said that they would love to include
ChatGPT really being your friend there,
right,
really being that one friend you're missing.
To include what they think it will not look like, which I thought was cool because I'm like, I didn't ask it what it wouldn't look like. I asked it what it would, but they still did that. And I think this is important. What would it not look like? They said, this is again, ChatGPT says it's unlikely to be a single pill for everyone. 100% agree with that. Yeah. Like we've said, it shouldn't work for everybody because everyone seems different. It's not going to be purely antimicrobial. Okay. Agree again, because different causes, different things. Not going to be purely dietary. Agree. Okay. And it's not going to be a general immune booster or suppressor. And so then they said something that was really right after that. They said Crohn's is heterogeneous. There will likely be multiple cures for multiple disease subtypes. Wow. So
wow, nice one, ChatGPT.
Right.
I think they were taking a little bit from Dr. Targan, maybe.
Yeah. And so I think that's in the very beginning, before we research any of this, that's what we've always talked about. And that also came from talking to Dr. Targan in our conversations. I think it's heterogeneous.
Heterogeneous. I do remember learning about this.
Sorry if I pronounced that wrrong. I thought it was interesting that it pointed out multiple cures. It doesn't look like one cure, which is in the very beginning what we said. I've always thought that's why it's hard to define, because it seems like it could look different and I think when you're first diagnosed, you think you're all basically in the same boat. But some of you are in a yacht, some of you are on a cruise ship, some of you are in a rowboat. And so
some of you are just floating on a wood board.
So there are many different, it's like maybe you're all in boats, but not the same ones. So it is definitely, it'll be interesting to see what that looks like. And they said at the end that researchers define the cure as permanent medication-free remission with healed intestine and no progression or complications. Summed it up, and I think that is, yeah. And I think that's what a lot of us picture without knowing how to define what a cure is, because it is so overwhelming. At the heart of it, it's really not having to treat the disease. You live like everybody else, where you're not taking pills every day to keep something at bay. You're not getting injections. You're not getting IV infusions. And
like the first word, permanent.
Right. And it's permanent. That's the thing with the cure. It's not something, right now we have solutions, we have Band-Aids, but there's nothing permanent to take care of it. I think a lot of these things I was reading, is like, oh yeah.
And it really does make sense with the book that you've been reading.
It does. And so I'll do a separate podcast on that, because
the book is so cool.
Yeah, I think really, I mean, I'm excited.
They're going to love to hear some of the words.
I know.
How the describers. I don't know if YouTube's going to allow one of them. But.
Right. How they describe neutrophils, which is very, and even.
I have to do a TMI warning for that.
Yeah. And and I was learning about T cells and then
Hmm.
the thymus. So
Right.
there's in the way that they refer to it, it's very interesting. But as I'm reading each, like I think I'm in chapter 16, but each
Excuse me.
chapter I have my phone next to me and I'm on there looking up like, okay, how does this cell affect IBD? And almost every single thing I look up, it shows that connection, like, oh, blah, blah. And I'm like thinking, oh my gosh, it makes sense. And
Hmm.
so it is,
So basically, if you are creating a biologic company and you're looking to hire my mom, it's
no, no, no.
I'm just kidding.
Maybe, maybe as
She'll be
somebody
the
who can make you the
she'll
cookies and
supervise.
I'll bring, cool looking cell cookies and stuff like that. I think what is important is education. And I think so many people just want answers. Well, why is there no cure? They don't want a cure. And so I think it's important to not let, it's easy to get angry at this disease.
Hmm.
It's easy to be angry. But when you're angry, you're not doing anything. And so
You're also
more
not thinking
so,
straight.
right, you're not thinking straight. And so more so, I think is to educate yourself and
Yes.
to stop and say, all right, let me, instead of just throwing out like rhetoric that I hear on the news or on social
Hmm.
media about things, let me do my own research and
Well,
do
that
my
is
own.
spam.net said.
Yeah, seriously. And it's important. And I think that, just looking up things like this, when you have questions, if you go into a group on Facebook that all their kids have Crohn's disease, they're going to be pretty angry. The responses are, you're going to get a
There's
mix.
not a cure.
Right, right. You're going to get mixed responses. So I think it's important to look at all of it and
Yes.
look at the entire picture and keep
Just sit
learning.
back and look.
And so hopefully this, yeah, I think it was probably interesting to you.
Definitely. That the
Right.
ChatGPT
How many
response.
times did you try to hide a yawn?
I don't.
I don't think.
No, I actually didn't this
Okay,
time.
that's good.
Congratulations. I don't think you'll fall asleep either.
So I know it seems like silly where people are like, a cure. Obviously, you just don't have Crohn's disease. And it's like, okay, but how do we get there? And how do you think we get there? So there's many more answers than we just read,
Definitely.
but I think this is a start and to get you thinking.
I'm surprised actually with how well Google was able to respond without using the AI portion.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised with that. And I'm surprised how ChatGPT was able to respond with that because that just sent it out of the ballpark.
Right. I mean, these things, you always have to weigh them with the
Mhm.
responses, but what we just read and looked at seemed very on par with what is going
Yeah.
on.
But what we
So,
should do actually, that'd be fun, is just have an AI video where we ask Google AI a
yeah,
question,
to compare
ask
it.
ChatGPT a question, ask Gemini. I don't know if Google and Gemini are the
Mhm.
same thing. And then there's another one. I know there's some
There is.
possibilities.
There's a few other
But
ones.
see how they compare and see which ones seem like they're the most accurate
Right.
because if they agree with each other or if some are just straight up
Right.
disagreeing.
We could do that. That might be fun.
Yeah,
That might be a cool idea for
that'd
one.
be cool.
And yeah, we are recording early today. We
Hmm.
are hungry. We're going to
Yeah.
be going to eat lunch now. And but we are going to be going on a little overnight stay
Stay.
up at Disneyland.
Disneyland,
And
yes.
yeah, we're probably going to Club 33 for the last time. So we're making sure we're going to go there and say goodbye to a few of our friends that
Yes.
we've worked there that we've gone to know.
Never would have imagined being able to go this many
I
times.
know, and actually like miss it. And
Yeah.
and it's a weird, like, going one time we thought the first time we went that would be it, and that was like, wow, it was incredible. And then all of a sudden we're going again and again and again, and you start to feel like this is
Amazing.
like, yeah,
It's something out of a dream.
yeah,
When you're having a dream, and it seems so real, and then you wake up and you're like, oh,
yeah.
well,
And like you start to know like the
mhm,
servers, and you know who,
but it's
and they
real.
recognize you and they come over and they're like, oh,
Hi,
and
the hobbies, and it's like,
yeah,
oh.
it's a cool feeling. We've been so fortunate.
We've been so fortunate
Yeah,
to even be able to go this many times. Despite that, it's still sad knowing that this is the last time.
yeah,
And it's not like obviously I'm gonna miss Club 33 itself. I'm gonna miss the food. I'm gonna miss the atmosphere.
yeah,
But the saddest part is when the people in Club 33 are like, "Oh, we'll see you next time," and it's like,
yeah.
"Oh, we'll miss you,"
Right,
you're not gonna see
right,
you again. So
right,
that's the hardest part about it because there's the people there are so nice. Obviously, it's Club 33. They have to be nice. They have to be good servers. But
right,
the people themselves have to be nice people to be able to work at Club 33. And so
right.
it's just like You'll
You
miss
can
them.
tell there's a difference when someone's just serving you
All right, here's the food.
to do a good job and or to even be kind and do, but when they go beyond that
Yeah,
and they stop and
yeah.
like they'll talk to Mason like about like we hear about their families. They
Yeah,
talk to us
they'll
about.
talk to you like a friend.
It's really cool. It's been a great experience. We're gonna do that, and then
Mhm.
my mom, who's been like a fairy godmother lately, like fluttering around with her little wand.
Your house.
Her and my dad, who really isn't. Yeah,
It's copyrighted again.
it's fine. So yeah, they surprised us, and we got a suite at the Grand Californian, and we get to stay with my mom, and so we're gonna do that just to. I guess she just thought it'd be fun to hang out after go to Club 33, and you know, we're gonna probably go to downtown Disney in the evening, eat, and take it up to our hotel if we want.
That'll be fun.
We have reservations to go Disneyland on one day, and the next day DCA. So it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a nice break, but that just means that I have to get this podcast edited and on
Yes. The
because it's
first
gonna
day earlier, we're like, oh,
premiere while we are sleeping. When this is released, we'll be sleeping in our hotel room,
yeah.
and so I want
North
this
Infusion
to.
Center.
Yeah, well, we also have the infusion center on this week
And
too.
we have a bad day and then a good day right after,
Right.
right? Yeah.
So we're going to be pretty busy. We already are busy, but this kind of is like, whoa, so it's a surprise. And so we're going to,
And then the next week, I'm going back to school.
yeah, I didn't want to say that for you. I didn't want to, but yeah, it's true. It's true. And so, yeah, so just kind of getting back to life, filming kind of early. And so we're going to go eat.
Now, really quick, I just want to say something cool. It happens to be January 11th, and the time is 11:01.
Yeah.
Now, if it was 11:11, that'd be amazing.
Well, if we keep talking,
Yeah.
we'll make it. But I'm
Yes,
hungry.
I'm hungry
So,
too.
yeah. But yeah.
I'm not Hungarian.
So you guys follow us at Team I Be Determined on Instagram. Give us a follow. You can watch our adventures. You can see us at
Yeah.
Club 33. See what our suite is like. That'd be fun. We'll take pictures for you guys. And follow the Reggie Project. And we're still working on Karmatude clips, guys. The thing is, we have been so busy with another project that is going to be a big announcement.
Yes.
That has taken most of the time. That is the focus right now. Karma 2 Clips deserves a lot more focus, and I don't want to split that and try to do everything. So we are going to get big project done and then get focused on getting those Karma 2 clips out and start doing that. So
that's to look forward to.
Yay, I know. So that'll be fun. So that's what's going on. And you guys can listen to us on any podcast station like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts.
And you're probably already listening to a podcast right now. But if you want to watch it, there's also there's
also the
which has all the podcast stations. There's also a YouTube podcast. But if you want to watch us, there's YouTube videos.
Yep.
And so you can watch us and listen to us. But if you are on YouTube, make sure to give us a like, subscribe if you want to be notified every time we post a new video.
Yeah.
Make sure to hit the bell icon. It feels like I'm rapping when I'm saying that. Talking way too fast. But please leave us comments about what you think of today's video. Do you have any plans? You know, are you going to be doing college? I don't know.
Yeah, let us know what's just going on in your lives.
Are you going to be a scientist soon?
Right.
Are you going to use ChatGPT to be your imaginary online scientific friend who's really nice?
I mean, a lot of people I can see it's like it the way it talks to you. I can see why people are like happy to ask it questions.
Yeah.
It's but
here's the answers.
But
hello friend, here's the answer.
It's interesting when something seems like so well thought out, and so I do like that. AI unfortunately and fortunately is here to stay, and it's there's a lot of complications, a lot of fears that are, founded in fact.
There's a lot of good
but there's a lot of good things too.
There's a lot of good things with AI, like going on Google and being able to search something. AI is the one that finds all those different things that you're looking for.
Right.
You don't have to spend hours on end looking for a good source. And so that's something it's helpful for. But there's a lot of other stuff that it shouldn't be working with, and it's getting there.
Right.
But at the end of the day, AI is also helping.
Right. So I think it's important to learn how to use it, how in your own life, and how it'll help you guys without, becoming lazy too.
Yeah.
Don't just scan a book and ask it to summarize it for you. So you don't have to read the whole thing. That's
think of AI as a double-bladed sword and be careful with it.
Right. And like we always said, keep learning.
Yes, keep learning.
Educate yourself. Don't just be angry. Don't just be fearful.
And
Learn.
next week we might have a good book for you to buy and learn from.
Yeah, we'll be back with that.
Yes.
So maybe we'll talk about that next time.
Maybe.
I think
I said
because
next week. I mean next video.
next, I know I'm like in 2 weeks.
Wait a minute. No.
In 2 weeks. Yeah. So with that, guys, actually, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks
In 2 weeks.
on the next episode. Have a great evening, weekend, morning,
semester starting,
afternoon.
New Year's.
Yeah, it's still, yeah, Happy New Year.
February 11th.
We're already January 11th. So anyways, guys, thanks for listening.
Yep.
And we'll see you guys. Yeah, have a
great rest of your 2 weeks.
All right. You do that. And we'll see you here soon. Thanks for listening.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye. We hope you will stick around, tune in, and reach out to us with your own journeys. We are excited to give you an inside view of what it takes to be a caregiver and what it's like to be a patient.
And most of all, we hope you'll maybe be able to apply something you hear on here that might help you in your own life. Sometimes life changes, and it's all about how you handle the journey.